Hi everybody, this is Dr. Madiha Saeed, board certified integrative holistic family physician, coming to you live this beautiful Thursday in May. Yay! I hope it's not snowing where you are, but the thing is, it's finally some sort of sunshine, right? After April with all those weird snows. Well, if those that don't know me, I go by Holistic Mom MD because I am the physician mom of 4 boys 10 and under. So every Thursday we talk about the factors of inflammation, because guess what? As a board certified family physician, I know that your chronic symptoms, either they be headaches, fatigue, irritability, weight gain around the midsection, problems with digestion, arthritis, back pain, right? All those have one root cause, and that is inflammation. And if you can lower inflammation, you can heal not one symptom, but then all of them simultaneously. It is so awesome. So we talked about, I have a book called The Holistic RX, Your Guide to Healing Chronic Inflammation and Disease. And let's go to where we talk about inflammation right here. That deficits in any of these can lead to inflammation that can cause your chronic symptoms, right? So we talked about, the spiritual health, making sure that every morning you say 10 things that you're thankful for, because I'm thankful for you. Mwah. And then we have social health, and people around you should lift you up, not drag you down. So make sure you have positive friendships. Sleep well. Incorporate a stress management technique into your daily routine, either it be meditation, yoga, abdominal breathing, all those, because that will help to lower inflammation and keep those damaging hormones at bay. We don't want any of those. Then we have is make sure that the toxins, make sure your house, inside, outside, what you put everywhere, is as clean and natural as possible, because that does make a big difference in your health and your liver for detoxification. And this is where we've been talking about. We've been talking also about your gut health. Your gut health, 70 to 80% of your immune system lies in your gut. So guess what? It needs, you need to lower the inflammation in the gut. Add those microbiome, add the good bugs back into your gut. Remove all those bad foods. Add the good foods like vegetables, protein, healthy fats. Repopulate with prebiotics and probiotics. Rebalance the gut. Reseal the gut with bone broth. And then what we need to do is also to then rebalance with all the stuff that we talked about, right? Sleep, social health, spiritual health, stress management, and then nutrition and detoxification. So we talked about gut. So you can go through past all my other Facebook Lives, because I do have, and I've been going through this every Thursday. I do these Facebook Lives with you guys. So go ahead and check that out. And where I go through each one of those in a little bit more detail. Short little snippets, but easy. And nutrition. Now we've been talking about whenever you want to put food in your body, you want to make sure that it fits 3 criteria. 1, is it the most nutrient dense for you? Is it? Because remember, food can either help you or hurt you. So you want to make sure it's the most nutrient dense foods for you. Then we have will it balance your hormone levels? And we're going to talk about a little bit more about insulin, because today we're going to talk about fasting. Yay! I love fasting! And then we have does it also heal your gut? So you want to make sure that the food criteria meets these 3 points, right? So let's go ahead and talk about insulin resistance. I know we talked a lot about insulin resistance beforehand, because that does play a big role in why fasting is so good for you. So we talked about here on page 40. Here in the book, we talked about, so this is what a normal healthy cell should do. It should, if you have no inflammation, if you're living a happy, healthy body, if you're a balanced diet, your glucose, in order for it to enter the cells, your pancreas has to release something called insulin. Insulin goes and knocks on the cell wall and lets the glucose in, right? And when it lets the glucose in, everybody's happy and healthy. Yay! But over time, especially with an elevated insulin level all the time because of our chronic stress, the foods that we eat are so processed that it raises our insulin levels higher than whole natural foods do. And so, and then, imbalanced diet, deficiencies, medications, inflammation, and increased intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut, what we talked about earlier today, right now. And what happens is that because the insulin is always elevated, your body refuses to listen to it anymore. So sad. So then your pancreas is like, hey, buddy, you're starting to feel tired and brain fogged and all of these symptoms, and you're waking around the midsection. You're like, what's going on? Why do I feel so tired? And so then you think that it's because of the fact that you didn't have enough sugar. So here you go, eat some more sugar and then more sugar. But what's really happening is that your pancreas is pushing out all this insulin because your cells are not listening to it. And that leads to a state of insulin resistance, where your cell, and the symptoms are like fatigue, irritability, brain fog, midday sugar crashes, carb cravings, acne, weight gain. And actually all of those insulin resistance can really cause problems with, it in turn causes more inflammation, more leaky gut, more insulin resistance. So it's like this big, long cycle. So you want to really make sure you target this. And the best way to target, especially if you are insulin resistant, if those symptoms feel like you, or even just a reboot, I do it on a regular basis. So fasting helps with that a lot, right? So now we're like, what is fasting? So let's talk about fasting, because if you haven't guessed it, yes, I am I'm Muslim. So we fast the entire month. I know, it's crazy, right? We literally fast the entire month. It's called Ramadan, and that's actually coming up in the next less than a week. It's coming up. And that's why but plus on top of that, all of the major religions have fasting, right? Christians and Buddhists and all these, and Jewish religion, all of these amazing, amazing religions have fasting. Why? Right? Because one, yes, there's a spiritual purpose to that. It really helps with self-control and you realize, what really matters in life, and, you gain more, you have more time then to connect spiritually. But did you guys, this is also a huge health benefit. So let's start from the beginning, right? So fasting, what is fasting, right? That's basically when you abstain from food or drink for a specific period of time, right? And yes, it's part of religion, but now it's also been really popular now. You probably have heard of fasting in the news. And that is now part of like health regimens for detoxification, losing weight, all of that stuff, right? So it's really cool. And there's different types of fasting. You thought, what? There's different types of fasting? Yeah, there's intermittent fasting, and that's more of like cyclic fasting. So it ranges from about 14 hours of 18 hours of no eating. Nothing that will raise your insulin level. So depending on if you want water, you can have water or black coffee, or like green teas that won't raise your insulin level. Then there's time restricted eating. And that was where you abstain from food for at least 12 to 16 hours. Then there is, 16 8-hour fast. There are about different types of fast. And there's when you fast for 16 hours and then only eat for about 8 hours with fasting in between. That's what I typically start my patients off with, is especially those people that have insulin resistance or are pre-diabetic or have high blood pressure issues or have cholesterol issues or have all these issues. I typically have them start off with at least a 16-hour fast. And really, it's so simple. If you eat at 6 o'clock, then you don't eat the next morning till 10. How easy is that? That's really easy, you guys. It's totally doable. Totally doable. It takes a little self-control. Yes, I completely get it. And especially I'm a nighttime muncher, so it's harder for me at that time. But then I like my green teas at that time, right? Then there's when a lot of people alternate day fast. So they'll fast one day and then they won't fast another day. And then there's so many other, the Daniel fast, right? You probably heard of that. That's more of like a biblical fast. So those are the specific types of fasts. I mean, there's so many other ones, but those are the ones I typically recommend to my patients are the intermittent fasting, and start them off with at least like 12 hours and then sort of maybe push them depending on, everybody's need is a little bit different. So, so now let's talk about fasting, right? One, you're going to need to, first decide what you want to do, what's right for you, set some goals, make a menu, and we're going to talk about that. Stock the refrigerator up, and then always, 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 please listen to your body, right? Sometimes when you need to break you'll start to feel, you need to listen to the body and, go. So another common question that I get is, how long should I fast for, right? And depending on if you're doing it for religious reasons, if you're doing it for Lent, I mean, obviously those considerations are a little bit different, but especially when you're just doing intermittent fasting, I start with the 12, see how you do, and then especially if you start, depending on what your goal is your goal to lose weight, right? Or is your goal to be healthy, to detox? Is your goal to give your stomach, some rest? Whatever it is, we want to know what your specific individual goals may be. And then remember we talked about low glycemic. Some people can exercise, some people cannot. But again, I like to start people off with at least minimum an 12-hour fast, because we shouldn't be eating all the time. Naturally, our bodies are, because that will help to bring down that insulin level, right? Because what happens is that people that are a little bit overweight, anybody that's overweight, your insulin level's at a totally different baseline. So in order to break that insulin level down, you need to sort of fast. And that creates those dips to allow the baseline to come down, so then it's easier to lose weight. So especially if you're having problems losing weight, that is a really good way to help you lose weight. And obviously when you lose weight, then you get healthier and all that, depending on how much weight you need to lose. So now let's talk about the benefits of fasting. Oh my gosh, okay? So yes, we talked about how it helps to boost weight loss. It promotes the secretion of something called human growth hormone. And that actually is naturally produced by your body, and is because, it helps to treat obesity, it helps to build muscle mass. It's important for actual burning fat, right? And then so the secretion of human growth hormone, it helps athletes. Fasting has been found to have positive effects on their on their body, and it helps them perform better. Isn't that crazy? Just by fasting. It normalizes insulin levels. We just talked about that. It brings that balance down a little bit, so you're able to lose weight and lower your insulin resistance. It helps to normalize ghrelin levels, and what that is that's a hormone that can help you stay. That's like the hunger hormone, right? So it helps to normal. So if you feel like you're the type that's hungry all the time, once you fast, you will notice that your hunger hormone, also known as ghrelin, I can't even say ghrelin, whatever. There we go. I say it fast. But can stabilize with fasting. That's different than dieting. So if you're dieting, you're still eating. So therefore, you're still hungry. So this is what's so amazing with fasting, is it helps to balance that level. Then it also, because you're lowering that insulin level, you're lowering that sugar level, you're balancing out your blood sugar levels, it also lowers your triglyceride level, the bad cholesterol, right? And then actually just may slow the aging process. Woo, who didn't want that? Cha-ching. And so those are the quick, fast things about fasting. Now let's talk about what you're going to be eating, right? So we fast actually in the month of Ramadan, we fast from sun up to sundown. That's what we fast, right? We get up early in the morning to have a meal, and then we wake up. So that's right now, it's literally pushing like 18, 20-hour days. I know, it's crazy. 18-hour fasts. So that's a lot, especially if you're not used to fasting. Now, I am used to fasting, so that really doesn't bother me, because I do it regularly even when we're not in Ramadan. But what's really harder about this, and this is why it's really important to stay nourished and give your body exactly what it needs to heal and stay healthy, is that during this fast, this Ramadan fast, we are as Muslims are not allowed to have water, right? So it's nothing in any orifice. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing in any orifice gets to enter during sun up to sundown. After that, when the sun comes down, then it's party all night long. But that's where Muslims get it wrong, right? Because what we do is it sort of offsets the effects of fasting. Because normally Muslims and anybody that opens up, if you are fasting outside in a different religion or whatever it is, especially if you overindulge yourself, that offsets the effects of fasting. Yes, so therefore people actually, you think that Muslims would lose weight during fasting, but guess what? We actually gain weight. Why? Because we eat all night long. We shouldn't be doing that. We eat all night long, and then what we do is we eat a huge meal at the beginning, and then we stuff our belly up so we can't even move. We stuff our belly up when we open it. And then we eat high carb foods, all the fake foods. We literally open our fasts with fake stuff. That needs to go. That is the unhealthy way that actually is totally against what our religion and what religions all over teach. Not to stuff yourself. We need to make sure that you keep some room to digest, because otherwise if you fill your stomach up, you're not able to digest that appropriately. So a common thing that a lot of people, go ahead you guys, ask questions. Thank you guys for the heart love. I saw that. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I love this. This is your time with me, right? Because I can just keep on talking. That's my favorite thing to do. So we have, so what we want to do is, especially when you, we as Muslims, we wake up early in the morning to eat a little bit. And that is a meal, it's called suhoor. And that is a meal that we should have that is high fat, right? High fat, really good. Something easy. I know when we're waking up, can you imagine waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and eating? Yes, it's hard. It's hard. 3 o'clock. You're okay, you're barely awake, and you're just stuff something in me, put a tube inside and just stick it so then I'm good for the rest of the day. But to actually get up and have a meal, at that time, it's really important to remember we talked about those things that every time you put food in your mouth, it should balance the glucose levels, heal the gut, and be the most nutrient-dense foods for you. And those are your vegetables, your protein, healthy fats. So in my house, we do smoothies, we do eggs, we do berries, all of those amazing things that will help to lower your insulin levels. Will help to keep you satiated. And to keep you satiated. So really to focus on that, that's amazing. And vegetables, protein, healthy fats. We do a smoothie. My favorite smoothie, let me tell you what my favorite smoothie is, which I love at that time. I feel like I'm having dessert in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I feel like it's happy hour for me. But you take almond milk, ice, cocoa powder. You can get the raw organic cocoa powder, right? The cocoa. And then you put 2 dates in it, just 2 dates. And I put almond butter. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So almond butter, almond milk, dates, almond milk, and then I put cocoa powder, and then I put frozen greens. Vegetables, protein, healthy fats, all in one, and it lasts you literally it lasts you all day, right? And again, eggs and avocados, all of those with berries, and all of those are amazing. You have your vegetable, your protein, your healthy fats. Again, a smoothie is the best thing to do in the morning. And then you get all your nutrients that way. Plus you get your greens, and making sure you're drinking lots of water in the morning time. And then at night, again, you want to open your fast with vegetables, protein, healthy fats. I know. You can, sometimes you want something a little bit more carby, and that is chickpea flour. So for example, I use chickpea flour to fry in. I use to fry, if I want to make Kentucky Fried Chicken, I use chickpea flour. So I'll take the chicken wings or the chicken thighs, I'll cut them up, add some chickpea flour within it, add some of my spices, and then when I'm ready to fry it, I will go ahead and put it in some dry chickpea flour and I'll fry it in coconut oil. Oh my gosh, now it feels like I've just totally cheated. But you guess, because a chickpea flour is very low glycemic and most people can tolerate it, it works in my house. So that's what I really use. It is paleo, but it's not GAPS approved. So there are, depending on what your specific individual need is, there are other options. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Kelsey, hey, how are you? So consider fat is if you have your, because especially when you have your bulletproof coffee in the morning, it doesn't raise, because that fat doesn't raise your insulin level that much. So usually that's fine. And then a lunch around 1. Perfect, Kelsey, you're superstar. So I hope that helped. Vegetables, protein, healthy fats is still the way we want to go. We want to make sure that we're not stuffing our face with food all day long and all night long, actually, for fasting. And what insulin level? Hey, Emmy. I love that name. That's a cute name. What insulin level do you think is optimal? So when I check fasting levels, I want your insulin level less than 10. So I hope that helps. So again, you could even try this at home. So if you think you have insulin resistance, I want you to go to your doctor. Doctors never check for insulin resistance. So you want to make sure that when you go to them, have them check your fasting insulin levels, hemoglobin A1C, and a CMP, which is your complete metabolic profile, and that should all be fasting. That will tell you want your glucose level less than 90, you want your insulin level less than 10, and you want your hemoglobin A1C, which is checks your sugar levels over the last 3 months, you want that less than 5.4. So I hope that helps. If it's any of those are elevated, or any triglycerides lower, like less than, like around 50-ish. But anything that is above that, then you probably have prediabetes. And this is what's really sad. A lot of kids also have prediabetes. So this fasting, when we feed kids all day long, my kids, I try to keep them fasting. So really try to bring that baseline of insulin down, so it really helps them. Emmy says, oh, thank you. Mine has lowered to 21, but I feel better below 10. But I know. Honestly, it's so much better. So that's why there's a difference between normal, and you asked the right question. What is optimal? So awesome. So I hope that helps, everybody. I'm going to head out upstairs. I have to go pick up a kid from preschool. And if you can continue asking your questions, I'm always here for you. And remember, I've written it all extensively in The Holistic RX, your guide to healing chronic inflammation and disease. You can check out, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I'll put the link below. It's called HolisticMomMD.com. You can also, actually, now that it's all set up, you can text 44222 Healing Eats, HEALING Eats, EATS, one word, to 44222, and then you can immediately get this, my book. Isn't that so cool? So you can even text it. What are you going to text? You can text Healing Eats, one word, Healing Eats, to 44222. Hope that helps. See you guys next week. Bye.